All right, so before we start, while we're getting the IT set up, so I assume all of you have heard about Mistral. So we're a French company, we build cool LLMs, and tonight I want to talk to you about something pretty cool that we released a few weeks ago that was already showcased a few minutes ago. That's Codestral. So quick show of hands, who's using GitHub Copilot? Who's using something else? Who is building an IDE extension to do code auto-completion? All right, so who's curious about how to build these kind of things? Okay, so apparently I chose my topic pretty well. Problem is I have 5 minutes to explain all of that to you guys. So this is going to be quite the challenge. So to, let's say, put things in context before we get started, you all know how to use an LLM through what is called, let's say, the instruct mode, right? You have a user, you have an assistant. As a user, you send a message, and the model, as the assistant, gives you an answer. So during the demo, I will show you that under the hood, when you use a model like Codestral, it's actually a tiny bit different because it's not a model that was trained in like the usual way when you have to deal with instruct things. It has more to do with like more fine-grained completion, because when you are on VS Code, when you are on PyCharm, when you are on whatever IDE that you use, it's not just about completing part of the code like through the end of the file. Sometimes it's like filling the blanks, right? But to do so, it's not like you are able to do that with the regular like instruct-based transformer. So during the demo, I will also show you how it is different, the new methods that we introduced in our API, so that you can go even beyond instruct mode and do some pretty neat things. So here I'm not doing anything special. I'm actually, as usual, prompting my model to actually write a Python function to count the number of words in a text file. Something that I always forget how to do. But here, there's a trick. Like, you do that in instruct mode, then you have a high probability of the model being very verbose, saying, why, yes, sure, of course, here is a Python function to blah, 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 blah. You don't want that. First trick is this guy, prefix messages. The idea is to send to the model not just the user message, but an assistant message as well that is going to tell the model, start with your answer with these tokens and nothing else. You're basically prefixing the answer of the model. And here I'm cheating a bit because I'm telling it, you're going to start with def count word in file, blah, blah, blah. And this is going to be a prefix in the conversation. So let's see. All right, looking good. But then I want to do something else. I want to use this new mode that I have started teasing you about earlier, which is actually called fill in the middle, or FIM. This is pretty neat. It's not a chat endpoint. It's a completion endpoint where you can provide a prompt and a suffix, meaning that you're going to tell the model, this is the prompt, perform completion on top of it, but end your answer. So consider that the end of the overall answer should be this suffix, which is determined by you, the user. So here, what I'm doing is, the prompt is the header, the definition, of the function. The suffix is the return statement. And this is giving me the Python function. As you can see here, it's looking good. I even get an example. What else? What if I wanted to do, let's say, a bit cleaner Python, adding type hints so that I am able to do like type annotation, what my friends like to call civilized Python. So here we go. This one is good old instruct mode. And it's still looking good. But now we're on to something even more interesting. What if you need to document your code? Who likes documenting their own code? Who does it well? But you all like to write code. So like the obvious solution is writing code to write documentation. Am I right? All right, and to do that, it's actually going to be very easy. We're going to use this theme mode, remember. We're going to write a small function that is going to split the code that we generated in half. If you think that I'm a regex master, think again. This was actually generated with this Codestral model. I cheated a bit, I admit. And then, once I get that function, I define my, let's say, prompt by being the beginning of the function, the suffix being whatever comes after the definition of the function, and what I need to put in between is the docstring in Python, so the documentation of the function. And to do that, I am doing here the beginning of the code. I am adding here those three characters that actually are the start of the docstring. And then off we go. It understood that it requires generating a docstring, and it is looking good. So this is, in a nutshell, what is going on in a very simplified way when you're using those fancy auto-completion IDE extensions. So if you are curious and if you want to play with Codestral, you can either use those extensions or open the hood, look at the API, and play with it. Thank you.